Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Hoopty, and we are going to continue our American dream, our American saga right now. A little bit of a disclaimer. Something apparently has happened to my save files, so I'm actually having to load from an autosave, the last autosave that was made. So we'll see how far back we are. I think the game actually autosaves every turn, so I don't think this is going to be that bad. We've got our settler just about to move into place, I think. Right there next to that rice and cattle was where we were going to put down. Yeah, it was, because we started the aqueduct right here. So we must be like a turn behind. So I'm a little bit confused as to what happened. Hopefully this is something that we don't have happen again in the future. Honestly, it might have actually been me. I may have forgotten to save the game after having done the last recording, which, if that's what happened, which we'll never actually know, but if that's what happened, then silly me. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what we needed to do with our trade routes here. I think in 2 turns we're going to start on the Forbidden Library in Washington. So I think this guy is actually going to start his trade route to Cincinnati. Crossman's going to do nothing. Alright, so let's just verify. Yeah, I think this is right. 1, 2, 3. We don't get those diamonds. But I don't think we can get it all without getting really out of position. So we'll found the city. It is in New Orleans, if you're from the south. Actually, I have no idea if that's how they pronounce it. That's just, I think, a colloquialism that gets passed around. I think we want no, that's right. The first thing we did was we placed our aqueduct so that we don't goof that up in the future. But then we switched off of that. What did we switch to? So they're not on a river or a lake or a coast, so their housing is only 2. So I think we're going to start in on the granary. Continue to spread the false religion that we cannot own for whatever reason. Hopefully that gets fixed. I think I've said that many times now. I don't like this Congo settler. I'm going to do something... Yeah, I'm probably going to do something that, if it was a real player, would really kind of piss him off. And actually, it used to be in Civ 5 that this would upset the AI as well, but I'm actually going to buy some tiles. I can't buy any farther out, so I'll buy these 2. And that should, I believe, stop them from trying to settle right there. And we don't have open borders, I don't believe. Let's see. No, we don't have open borders, so they're not coming through our lands. So that's fine. Continue to spread the one false religion. Mr. Builder. Oh yes, we are having you come up to repair the plots of land that we can't really tell need repairing. Very misleading that they need to be repaired. Oh, another scout. Barbarian scout. Alright. Wonder if there's another... I'm guessing he's left over from that campus, or that outpost that was like right here, I think. So we got the Eureka for industrialization. That's going to help us.
Tactics require observation.
So this unlocks the Hue Teocalli. I don't know, probably totally butchered that. But unfortunately, we don't have any lakes that we can tell of.
The day we stop exploring is the day we commit ourselves to live in a stagnant world, devoid of curiosity, empty of dreams.
With the exception of this lake right down here in the Congo territory, basically. So that wonder is going to be out of our reach. But we do want to change policies right now because we want to get out of this first era government and get into the Merchant Republic. I think that's what is going to work best for us since we're not at war at the moment. We don't need settler production. We don't have that many cities with 3 specialty districts, so I don't think we need the Medina quarter. Excuse me. We do need to get a bunch of builders, so maybe we'll do builders. Our gold production is pretty good. Let's just filter this for economics real quick. We don't have any theaters yet. Let's do natural philosophy to get the adjacency bonuses increased for our campuses. And I don't know if let's take a quick look at Petra and because that's classical. Where's classical at? Classical era is here. So Petra is a classical era wonder. Is the Forbidden Palace. That is a Renaissance. The Forbidden City is a Renaissance era. So we could get the plus 15% production on Petra. So I think we'll do that. We don't really have anything else we need to do right now. Our diplomatic... Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. We could potentially switch out conscription for professional army at some point once we kind of accrue a bunch of money, and then we can do a bunch of mass upgrades real quick and switch it back to conscription at a later time. Let's go ahead and start working on a great writer. Might as well. I think America is kind of built for a cultural victory win. So I don't know that I've talked about the victory conditions yet, and I probably should. If we open the world rankings here, we can see the victory conditions. So you have a science victory. The science victory, we'll actually go into that tab, is achieved by creating a spaceport first, and then you have to launch a satellite, and then you have to land on the moon, and then you have to establish a Mars colony. And actually, establishing a Mars colony is a 3-step process. So we can see here, other than doing the research, you have to launch a reactor, a habitation, and a hydroponics in order to land. And then here's that moon landing, and finally the Earth satellite. So then the next one is the cultural victory, which culture is very much different than it was in Civ 5. Civ 5 was just kind of culture was it's kind of a point system, and you just had to acquire enough points, and I think you had to have at least one city with like 30,000 culture points or something like that. But in Civ 6, culture actually drives tourism, and tourism is actually how you get the culture win. And so what we see here is 28. We have 0 of 28 international tourists. So you win a culture victory by having like 28 of 28 international tourists. And this is established. This 28 is established by the other civilizations and how many domestic tourists they have. So Congo has 27 domestic tourists, 27 of their population that are perfectly happy doing tourism things in their own borders. So they have the highest number of tourists, local tourists, domestic tourists, and so we have to get one more than their maximum in international tourists. And so when you look and you see everybody else is at 37 for some reason, well, that's because I have 36 domestic tourists. It is, in my experience, pretty hard to win a culture victory early on. It's a late game victory, in my opinion. Same as science. I mean, ultimately, science is kind of the absolute last you could potentially do, because the last of the technologies is where you unlock the Mars pieces. But it can actually take longer. You could potentially have a science victory win before you could have a culture victory win, just because once civilizations get really big and they have 120 population that's perfectly happy within their own borders, that's a lot of international tourists to try and get. All right, so domination. Domination is not an all-out kill of everybody. It's just the conquering of every other capital. So you could just pinpoint strategic strike capitals and win a domination victory pretty quickly if you were really, really aggressive. Of course, with the warmongering concept, you're probably going to end up at war with everybody at the same time, and that may make things difficult. But so domination is probably the easiest early victory to get. Religion is the last victory condition, and with religion, you simply have to spread your religion to 50% of the cities in every other civilization. It doesn't have to be 50% of the population, just 50% of the cities. And so actually, in my opinion, the religious victory, especially if you're a civilization that's geared towards religion, like Arabia is actually geared towards a religion, they are really easy to get a religious victory pretty early on. If you're just pumping out holy sites and acquiring immense amounts of faith per turn, and you can be putting out 4 or 6 missionaries a turn, and apostles as well, then you can really win the religious conversion game pretty quickly. I think it's probably the easiest victory to get, depending on your civilization, and it's, in my experience, is the easiest victory to get early. So that being said, let's continue having talked about that. What should we do here? We don't really need that. We're gonna build an aqueduct eventually in New Orleans, but we're gonna just do education for now, I think. Let's see if any of these are really gonna help us. We could get humanism, which is gonna unlock the museums, and in particular the archaeological museum then unlocks the ability to house archaeological finds, which is a different technology that allows you to build archaeologists. I think we're going to do this because it's also going to give us the great person's policies for engineer and artist. Oh, okay. Looks like they are ready for the Forbidden City to begin construction. Let's just go ahead and help our Congo friends out here take out this scout, just in case they are from a... I can't imagine that there's another outpost anywhere, but just in case, we'll take care of it. So I am considering not necessarily stopping this series, but I'm considering starting an additional Let's Play, more of a tutorial Let's Play, where I really break down individual moves, starting from the beginning of the game, maybe even going over the process of the possibility of not settling in the exact spot you start. Sometimes it can be worth it to look around a tile or two, but sometimes that 1 or 2 turns that you're trying to get, see if there's a little bit better position, sometimes it doesn't work out well for you. So we can gain... Do we even have a holy site? We may pass on this guy. Let's go... I don't know that we ever... Well, let's see. If we look up here, we have plus 12 from cities. Oh yeah, Rome has a holy site. Of course, because they are where there's a religion. But otherwise, we don't have a holy site. So I'm thinking we might actually skip this guy. We could get the science. So the Holy District's faith adjacency bonus provides science as well. So let's see if we can figure out how much adjacency bonus they're getting. Is there a way to do that? If we go into Rome and we just toggle their details. Talks about housing, amenities. Does not talk about... Is this telling us we're only getting a +1? I think that's telling us we're only getting a +1, which would make sense because it would be +1 from the mountain right here, and because it needs to be adjacent to two other districts, the campus here is not qualifying as enough. So I think we're only getting a +1. So that would mean that getting this great person is only going to give us +2 science. Not worth it. We're going to pass on that one. So that's an interesting... so great people. We haven't talked about that either, and well, I guess let's do that real quick. Great people are actually a pool of people that any civilization can acquire. And it's just whoever gets the right amount of points first. So we can see here that I'm leading in the Great Merchant race here. And Spain is acquiring 3 points per turn. Arabia's 3.5 points per turn. So whoever gets to the top is the person that gets to recruit this person. Unless someone goes in and uses money and or science to go ahead and get that person. Or excuse me, money or faith to get that person. So this is a whole pool of people to acquire from, and everybody competes for them, which is why we could not get a great profit, because everybody else got great profits before us. So there are times, like with that last scientist, and I didn't bother to look at who it was, but there are times where you may not want that person. It just may not benefit you. So like Isaac Newton, we definitely want him because of it gives you a free build on a library and a university, and all universities get +2 science. Huge for the science game. Huge. We are slowly working on our great writer. Looks like Congo's got more points there. They must have some theater districts, and maybe we'll go ahead and consider getting that theater district going. No, I'm not going to give you my silver. Not for, was that 152 gold? No. And I definitely don't want open borders. I mean, they can get around me. They don't need open borders to get through my lands. Okay, now this I might consider because of the pearls. I'm gonna see... No, okay, that won't happen. Okay, he'll do 3 gold per turn. He's gonna give me open borders. Let's see how much we can rake him over the coals for this silver. Always, when you're in these types of trade deals, always try to get just a little bit more, because the computer always comes in kind of with any type of negotiation. They always kind of come in lower than they're absolutely willing to spend, almost all the time. So it's usually good to try to get just a little bit more out of them. So yeah, we'll accept that deal. We might send our chariot back this way to go through their lands and see how much is down there. Alright, so we repaired that one. Let's go repair the other one. Alright, what do we get here? Ah, great engineer towards a wonder construction. Nice. So that's the other thing that, you know, in Civ 5, great engineers would just... They wouldn't insta-build, if I remember correctly, but they would significantly increase the amount of production on a wonder. And now, not all engineers do that. Some of them do, like Isidore of Miletus. Isidore? I don't know. Something like that. Alright, and he gets 2 charges. So we use the first charge on Washington, and it didn't help us that much. I think we're going to go down and put the other one on Petra, just to help it out a little bit, move it along, because we know San Francisco is a small community at this point. Well, actually, they've already gotten up to level 4, or population 4. That's pretty good. One, two, oh, you know what? San Francisco could buy out and grab those diamonds up. I think we're going to do that, because we don't have... Oh, we do have some diamonds, but it's an extra luxury resource, and we don't have quite enough to buy out to it, but that's okay. Let's see, Rome. What was... Oh, no, what did they just build? Industrial zone, that's what they did. I guess let's pop out a workshop, and you're going to come over to Petra. Continue to explore a little bit here. So their city is... I bet this lake ends like right here, and their city's probably right there. It could be right here. It could be right in the middle of all these. Actually... Based on their roads in this bridge, I am going to guess it's right there. You know what? We're going to play a guessing game here. I'm going to put a map pen right there. We're going to say Congo capital. And we'll see when I finally reveal that area if I was right or not. Do a little repair job here. I think this is going to be our last turn for this episode. Let's see what do we got. We can faith purchase a missionary. Do we really care? All it ends up getting us is the ability to build a pagoda. Really. Because we don't need the faith from the wonders. Because we're not... Yeah. I don't think we really care. Actually, would care more if it was... I don't remember what the other religion was that we were actually more interested in getting because of, like, Charleston and the growth. Alright, so let's use...
Petra is a brilliant display of man's artistry in turning barren rock into majestic wonder.
Alright, so we have completed the Petra, and so now every desert tile for San Francisco is going to give us +2 food, +2 gold, and +1 production. Huge. Now, I mean, San Francisco just got a major boon. Because if we look at that city manager, all these tiles, this tile, this tile, this tile, they were all barren before. There was nothing we could get from them. Same thing's going to happen to this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, this... I mean, the list goes on. The only tiles we were ever going to get anything from were the desert hill tiles over here, and this one. Those would have had production capability for mining, but you can see how almost overpowered Petra is. It's awesome. I love it. Alright, let's go ahead and pop out your industrial zone. I think we talked about putting it right here. If we put it there, we can mine, and this can still be something else. Actually, yeah, can we buy this? Do we have enough to buy this tile? Whoa, what? What was that? That was interesting. Nope, buy that tile. And make that industrial zone right there. Kind of far out. We're not going to get district adjacency from it, but that's okay. Alright, so once our turn is comes back up,
The purpose of education is to replace an empty mind with an open one.
once our turn comes back up, we're going to get a technology. That's exactly what I was going to say. No, I was actually going to say that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the flip side.